Okay, thanks for that, guys. That was your first attempt at a piece of TIE, and you were answering which criteria?
Criteria 1.
Criteria 1, thank you. Which element of criteria 1? What were you trying to show me?
The way that we teach our target audience will be appropriate.
Yeah, that is. Do you remember the wording? It's the meets their educational needs, yeah? So that was really interesting, had some great ideas. Just take me through the process. What were the educational needs that you felt that you need to meet with this target audience?
We looked at the...
I'm sorry, Jordan. What are the target audience, first of all?
Year 2, so 7 and 8 year olds.
Okay, good. Sorry, carry on.
We looked at their education curriculum on DFE, Department of Education, and found that recycling and litter was quite a big thing that they need to learn about, because obviously it's saving the environment. It was in part of their science.
Okay.
So we decided that was quite a big thing to focus on. So we decided that would be our topic, so to say.
Good. So it's on their curriculum, and therefore, okay, interesting. Let's stay on that for the moment. Why that though? How would you justify that is a relevant topic for year 2? So it's on their curriculum, that means they're learning it in school, aren't they? So why is TIE a good way of...
Well, because it takes it out of just the classroom situation, and it gives them another way to experience this, because they might come in and be like, they've done this a few times, it's the same class, recycling and that, but then coming in with this theatre piece, it's engaging, it's interactive, it's everything that year 2s like to learn by. And it's like, I know, it creates a fun atmosphere for them to learn this topic in.
And it's different as well, because being in a classroom with a teacher that you see every day in and out, and then seeing new people coming in and showing it, in a way it reinforces what the teacher's done, and the teacher reinforces us. So it's just a way of showing them it's not just sat in a classroom. There is different ways of recycling. And
we can also draw on personal experiences, because I remember being young, whenever someone came along and we did have sessions where people would come in and teach you this stuff, and it's a lot more interesting and a lot more engaging, and you know more about it purely because it just sort of strips it of the context of being schoolwork.
You're a lot more interested as well.
And also the fact that with, at the moment, the planet's not exactly in the best shape in the world, so you kind of need to get the message out there that people do need to make a change, and obviously the way that people are now probably won't change, but if we can inspire younger kids, then as they grow up they'll hopefully consider it a lot more, so that we make it really key to them that they do need to do something, because otherwise their world's not going to be a nice place to live in.
And not only that, they can maybe go home and tell their parents, I learnt this today at school, and then that automatically helps the parents show what they've learnt, and they can help reinforce it at home. Not the kids taking control, but the kids having a say in what happens with their rubbish.
More educating the parents as well, making them interactive at home and at school.
Okay, Kel, tell me about some of the techniques that you think are important when trying to teach or trying to meet an educational need of someone who is in year 2.
Lots of sort of physical stuff and movement, stuff that'll keep their attention for a longer period of time, as their attention span is quite short. So if you engage them and keep their attention for longer, they're more likely to learn it easier.
And linking onto that attention span thing, you can also apply repetition to this, because people might not be focusing, so the constant repetition of what's right, what's wrong, or the right way to do things, or whatever you're learning, that constant repetition will make it sink in. They're not focused at one point, they'll get it again later on, if you see what I mean.
Using variety of things, so using your voice and your facial expressions to engage them a lot more, because when you're a young kid, if you're a lot more animated, then they're more likely to engage with that and understand the emotion that your baby feeling and things like that. So by using that, we'll hopefully catch the kids a lot more. So we tried to focus on that in our piece that we just did.
We thought that using a variety of the way we were speaking, also when Michael did it, he spoke in a monotone voice, which even as a teenager we get bored of. If his teacher sits there and talks at me, I just turn off, and for a year 2 that must just be horrific. So when we did it, we made sure that it was upbeat, and it did have a sense of rhythm in it, in it was all up tempo and a lot happier.
There is an energy essence to it as well, as in when you're doing performing to young children, it has to be like you said, a lot more upbeat.
Wow.
else it doesn't quite interact and get them
The
interested.
amount of energy that they have in
Yeah.
themselves, like just the age they are, we need to make sure we can match that and if not exceed, so we're on the same wavelength as them.
And also we thought about how like interaction will be key in our piece, because kids will learn most from doing things themselves. So we'd like maybe doing like a workshop or something after them, or getting them actually involved in the piece itself would be helpful.
Yeah.
That's
So-
why we sort of looked at props and bringing in actual objects that they could touch or like feel and stuff, because they're more likely to like learn through it, I guess, because they can actually do it and get involved with the activity and
Wow.
see these sort of objects and like learn what goes where and sort of what.
We had the idea of bringing in like the boxes that you can get at home and then showing like what goes in each box and getting there like a pile of rubbish and then getting them to sort it out and like
I think we should also consider sort of song lyrics to sort of get into their head, and something simple that they'll be able to remember over and over in their head and music.
So you didn't have any songs or catchphrases or anything like that in the piece.
No.
Why do you bring that up, Kel? Why do you think that's important?
Because as a little child, you're more likely to remember a certain phrase or a song, something that you'll be able to say over and over in your head, whether say it's just a sentence may be too long for you to remember, or you don't pay attention too long.
It's kind of like that now as well, because like I know loads of song lyrics, but if I try and recite like a textbook, I can't do it. So it shows it's a good way of learning.
yeah. And even if we look online, so like all the CBBS programs, I'm sure one of them must have looked at reciting. Even if we take a song from that and show them, that's always a good use, using people they're familiar with who they must watch on the telly, and then giving it to that. It's also important that we show them the right information.
Yeah.
Yeah, the right. So in that, when we were up there, then we didn't really have the right props to show them exactly what.
We need to consider it a lot more, and like we need to really make sure that
We
our
do
piece
our
is
research.
organised, and like the organisation of the piece is really important, because if we've not done the appropriate research and we've not gathered the appropriate props and things like that, then our piece won't be as successful, because we'll be communicating wrong information, and it might not even be as fun because of that.
And if we're unsure, they'll be unsure of us, and we need them to feel comfortable with us, don't we?
I think we should also add an element of them doing it themselves. We show them a lot of information while we're there, but give them websites or something, because nowadays people have phones and stuff, they just go online, can type in websites, buzzwords. So if we make them want to look up more for themselves, it'll stick more rather than just showing them, because then it'll become a memory instead of current